Now let's see about direct memory access. Generally we can transfer data in three ways. The first way is programmed IO. The second approach is interrupt initiated IO. Third approach is direct memory access. In short we can call it as DMA. There are several problems with programmed IO and interrupt initiated IO. We can overcome those problems with the help of direct memory access, that is DMA. The problem with programmed IO is every time CPU has to check whether the IO device is ready or not. If IO device is not ready for data transfer, then once again CPU has to check whether IO device is ready or not. So CPU stays in that loop only. CPU will be mostly idle only if the IO device is not ready. We can solve that problem with the help of the second approach, that is interrupt initiated IO. Again, the problem with interrupt initiated IO is if the IO device is ready, then it sends an interrupt signal to the CPU. So here also it is the responsibility of the CPU to transfer the data between IO devices and memory. We know that whenever CPU receives the interrupt signal, then the current state of the CPU will be pushed onto the stack, such as program counter information will be pushed, program status word information will be stored onto the stack. So in order to store that information, it will take some delay. So if we remove the CPU intervention there, then it is very easy to transfer the data here. So in order to release the CPU intervention, we uses the third approach, that is DMA, direct memory access. The major advantage of DMA is it transfers the data between IO devices and memory without CPU. So here there is no need of CPU control. It is the responsibility of the DMA controller to transfer the data between IO devices and the memory. Here the DMA controller is a processor just like a CPU. DMA controller is solely responsible for transferring the data between IO devices and memory. It doesn't have any other work, like CPU has so many works. But the major task of DMA is it transfers the data between IO devices and memory, and DMA is extremely faster than compared with CPU also. Now let's take with this diagram we will discuss DMA now. So whenever IO device is ready, whenever IO peripheral device is ready, then it sends DMA request to the DMA controller. So here IO device is responding that I am ready for transferring the data. So DMA controller receives the DMA request from the IO peripheral device, and DMA controller sends BR. Here BR stands for bus request. DMA controller sends bus request signal to the CPU. So CPU receives bus request signal from the DMA controller. So once CPU receives bus request signal from the DMA controller, then it puts its address bus, data bus and control bus such as read and write lines in high impedance state. We know what is high impedance state. It is a open circuit. It doesn't perform any operation. So that means here it is giving that bus control to DMA controller. So for that purpose it is sending bus BZ. BZ stands for bus grant. So the CPU is sending bus grant signal to the DMA controller. So that means now this bus is hand over to the CPU. Now this bus is hand over to the DMA controller. Now it is the responsibility of the DMA controller to transfer the data between IO devices and the memory. So once DMA controller receives bus grant signal, then it can access this address line, data line as well as control lines such as read and write operations also. So whenever DMA controller receives that bus grant signal, then it provides DMA acknowledgement to the IO peripheral device. So DMA acknowledgement, so it specifies that DMA is ready for transferring the data between IO devices and the memory. Here we have read line, write line, address bus, data bus. So we know about address bus. So address bus contains address of the particular device, or address of the IO peripheral device, or address of the RAM. So that will be specified here. Next, data bus specifies the data that is to be transferred between IO devices and the memory. And these are nothing but read and write control lines. So here DMA controller has address lines, data lines, and write control line and read control line. Likewise, CPU also has read control line, write control line, address bus and data bus. So RAM means main memory. Here DMA controller is transferring data between IO peripheral devices and the main memory, that is nothing but RAM. So RAM also contains read control line, write control line, address bus and data bus. Here we have DS. DS stands for DMA select. DS stands for DMA select, whereas RS stands for register select. Here we can select DMA with the help of this address bus. So these address lines are connected to address select, and this is connected to address lines of CPU also. So with the help of these address lines, DMA, with the help of this DMA select as well as register select, then the corresponding DMA controller will be selected. Here the read and write control lines are bidirectional. So bidirectional means we can have arrows on both the sides. When BZ is equal to 1, when bus grant is equal to 1, then it specifies that DMA controller has the bus. So now the read and write lines are nothing but output lines from DMA controller to the corresponding RAM. Whereas when bus grant is equal to 0, then the corresponding bus is with CPU. Okay, so whenever BC is equal to 0, then that means the bus is with CPU only. So CPU can communicate with the registers of the DMA controller now. So here DMA controller totally has 3 registers are there. The first register of the DMA controller is address register. DMA controller totally maintains 3 registers. The first register is address register. The second register is word register or word count register. The third register is control register. Here address register specifies starting address of the memory. So let us assume that here we have locations like this. Let the starting address is 1000 and next address 1001. Likewise, let us assume that there are some 10 memory locations, 10 locations, 10 words. So this is nothing but a memory, a block which contains totally 10 words. Here address register contains starting address of the memory. Here what is the starting address? 1000. So 1000 is present in the address register. After each word is transferred from memory to some IO peripheral device or some IO peripheral device to memory, then the address register value will be incremented by 1. So first this 1000 word will be transferred. Next to 1001 word, next to 1002 word. So likewise each word will be transferred one by one. Next one is word count register. Here totally this block contains 10 words. So word count register contains a value called 10. So after each word is transferred, then the word count register value will be decremented by 1. So then word count after the first word is transferred, then it will become 9. Next it will become 8 likewise. Next the control register specifies whether we are performing read operation or write operation. So these are the 3 registers which are present in the DMA controller. So here just what we are doing is we are making connections from CPU, RAM and DMA controller, read control input, write control input, address control input and data control input. So likewise here we are transferring the data between what? This RAM and IO peripheral device. So here the major advantage of DMA controller is it transfers the data between IO devices and the memory without CPU intervention. So without the control of the CPU, it transfers the data. So once the entire data is transferred, then the DMA controller sends an interrupt signal to the CPU. So now CPU knows that DMA controller work is over. So now CPU, now what the CPU will do? CPU can access its address bus. It enables its address bus, data bus, as well as depends upon the operations. it will enables read and write control input lines. Okay. Here the data transferring is done in two modes. The first mode is burst to transfer mode. The first mode is burst to transfer mode, and the second mode is cycle stealing mode. In burst to transfer mode, what will happen is a block which contains a collection of words will be transferred in a single burst. So that means, let us take this example. Here this is a block which contains totally 10 words. So here all these 10 words will be transferred in a single burst. So at once all those words will be transferred. So once all those words are transferred at once, then only DMA controller sends interrupt signal to the CPU, and DMA controller disables bus request line. So CPU disables bus grant line. Okay. If CPU disables bus grant line, then the bus will be with CPU only. Next, cycle stealing mode. In cycle stealing mode, what will happen is the words are transferred one by one. So the first word will be transferred between this main memory and the IO peripheral device. Then after that, DMA controller disables this bus request line, and CPU disables this bus grant line. After that, once again, for transferring the next word, DMA controller will steals the bus from the CPU. So DMA controller once again gets the bus from the CPU, and it transfers the second word. So once the second word is transferred, then the bus will be with CPU only. So in order to transfer the third word, once again DMA controller steals the bus from the CPU. So by using these two modes, burst transfer mode as well as cycle stealing mode, the data will be transferred between IO devices and memory. So this is about direct memory access. So with this modes of transfer are over. In the next video we will see about IO processor, input output processor.